You know, I would like just one normal day. Is that possible? One normal day? Is it possible? Or at least when I'm traveling, can everyone just like chill out while I'm traveling? Because, of course, while I was traveling back to my studio here, I saw the news that you all saw that Melania Trump dropped a bomb on the White House and reopened us talking about Epstein, which helped. I mean, thank you, Melania Trump, I guess, because we're talking about Epstein again, which we should be. But we're getting multiple reports that the White House knew about this. They didn't know about that. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you. Let's just watch a little bit of Melania Trump's weird statement. And of course, I have some evidence that really doesn't line up with what she's saying. Let's just go to this real fast because remember, this kind of all started last year when a book was published saying that Melania Trump was introduced to Donald Trump through Jeffrey Epstein. And Michael Wolff said this.
A new book was published yesterday in the US and UK entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. It's by a British journalist by the name of Andrew Loney. And it's about the pathetic life of Prince Andrew, but it is also about his connection to Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Melania Trump. And in fact, it contains a passage in which Epstein is quoted, and this is from an interview apparently in 2007, where he says that he had sex with Melania a full year before Donald Trump commenced his relationship with Melania.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? And that's why it's very fascinating that Melania Trump, literally out of nowhere, without any warning, we knew that this speech was going to be, like, she was going to give some sort of announcement. We, at the Keith Edwards Show, thought this was going to be about AI. We thought it was going to be another stupid AI announcement. We had absolutely no idea that it was going to involve this.
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today.
That's the thing is like, sorry, need to end today. Who was saying anything about this recently? Everyone was talking about this war. So like,
About me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note.
I know she's lived here a long time, but baby, we need you to assimilate. Let's get that English on lock. You've been here so long. You still can't say, I don't know what she just said.
I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania.
Of course, and then she's like, buy my book. This is literally on the website you can see, or on the government website you see there. Justice.gov, baby. Okay, so it's there and it says, Dear G, how are you? Nice story about Jeffrey Epstein in New York Mag. You look great on the picture. She can't even type. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Let's shrink it down. I don't send a text like that to anyone other than someone I'm friendly with or I want to be friends with. Okay? That is not a text I am saying to someone I do not like. That is not a text I am sending to someone who is a casual acquaintance that I occasionally see out at parties, okay? That is someone reaching out. Now, maybe they never had a friendship, but then you get all these pictures. Like, what? And you're telling me this is the only time they ever met? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And remember, at least 16 files disappeared from the DOJ site for Epstein documents, including a Trump photo and also files mentioning Melania Trump. I guess my question is, why did this happen today? Is there some story coming out that we're unaware of? Is she getting ahead of something? It's truly baffling to me. It's very entertaining, but it's baffling. I just have no idea why she would do this. Perhaps she's like super in her head and the stuff that's came out previously really bother her. No one was like, Melania, no one's talking about this. You don't got to do this. Maybe she doesn't have people in her life to like say to her, hey, you actually don't need to do this because it's going to make it worse. Maybe she doesn't have good advisors. To me, and what even Fox News has been suggesting is that this is actually happening because she's trying to get ahead of a story. Now, what we also know too is that there's two different things being reported. So CNN is saying that Donald Trump knew about this.
Now, one source familiar says President Trump did get a heads up this was coming, but certainly adding momentum to an...
Okay. But then MS Now is reporting that he didn't.
That is the question that we're all asking today. In fact, I just got off a very quick call before we went to air with President Trump, who said he was in the middle of a war meeting and that he couldn't talk for very long and had to go, but that actually he had no prior knowledge to the topic that Melania Trump, his wife, was going to be touching upon today in his statement. In her statement, he then repeated that he had to go, but before we hung up the phone, he said that she didn't know him.
So here's what I think happened in that scenario. I think this lady got a hold of him immediately, and Donald Trump is losing his mind. He's demented. He quite often will tell the truth when he doesn't have a lie to fall back on. He probably really was surprised. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. And then the next call from CNN, he wanted to get a better story, which is he realized that it's really not great for him to look like he doesn't know that his wife is giving this speech that blows up the Epstein files yet again. So I think he cleaned up his story and he lied to CNN. So I actually don't think he knew about this at all. And Terry Moran asked this, why now? She's obsessed with herself and oblivious to everything else. It's who she is, but she's got to realize how bad this is politically for her husband. I think that's kind of the point. And I thought David Frum actually had a really good summation here. For a decade, Trump cast a reality distorting power over nearly half the country. That power ceased to operate first over Epstein, then over the Iran war. Hence today's outburst by Trump and Melania, each pulling levers that no longer connect to any mechanism. And someone just said, Maxwell is blackmailing Melania. Changed my mind. I don't know about that. But it's very fascinating, isn't it? I imagine something we will know more soon. And I just want to say that this coincides with Iran releasing another. They released one of these each. Like they got more drops than I swear to God. There's like a mixtape now, but they released another Lego video. But this time it was actually focused on Epstein. And here it is. And I'll see you soon.
Hey, Orange Pig. America first? Oops. Oh boy, that was the slogan you sold. But Bibi's pulling strings and your vote is getting cold. We're not just fighting for Iran, hear this clear. Your people reached out to us. Yeah, we got the DMs here. If one nation's gonna stand against the Epstein regime's fear, it's us till the last breath. We've been doing it for years. We're standing here for everyone. Your system ever wrong, they've known all along. The enemy was always you. The real threat wore a suit and sung a patriotic song while selling their own citizens and calling it strong. Stealing from your own people, making them bleed, taking tax dollars just to fund your own greed. They waking up to the lies, the illusions of burst. You screamed America first, now you put losers first. Make Israel great again. Your government is run by pedophiles. They ordered you to die for Israel. They ordered you to die for Israel. They lied to you trials, man, the planet would shake from the level of filth and the crimes in your wake. No wonder Jeff called you the worst, you degenerate snake. You claimed you never set foot. You went 40 plus times. You sick bastard, you cooked. We stepping up to the plate. Epstein regime gotta fall. You fake Christian elite sacrificing the ball. Demon, you talk real big for a man with tiny hands. Tiny hands, tiny things, tiny everything. We saw everything, and word got out. The smallness kinda expands. No wonder all those rage tweets, all those desperate rants. Overcompensating bully, always causing the scene. You said you love losers. Well, look at your team. Your government is run by. Your government is run by pedophiles.